There are only 6 teams remain that are undefeated in the NFL after week 3, and we're going to talk about each of those teams and are they legit contenders or a playoff contender type team. And we're going to start off with your Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, who had an undefeated battle against the LA Rams, and they ultimately come up on top, coming back from a 19-point deficit with an iconic Jordan Davis block and return to make themselves 3-0 and the Rams 2-1.
And that big man TD just shows you how much of a contender they really are. The answer is a full-blown yes, they are still Super Bowl contenders. And using that Rams games as an example, that's where we kind of saw the connection between Hurts and A.J. Brown come alive a little bit more. And that connection was the one that kind of brought him back into the game, erase that 19-point deficit, and obviously cap it off with a blocked field goal return for a touchdown.
Two straight
by a
blocked
big man.
field goal attempts.
Yeah, two straight blocked field goals.
Yeah, that game pissed me off because I had the Rams when healthy, we both agree that they should be in the Super Bowl contender type conversation. I thought they were going to win this game in my family pick'ems. I was the only one who picked them. Pissed me off because the way they lost that game and they were up and they were showing me that I was correct. But that's what the Eagles are. They are able to find ways to win certain ways. Like people talk about the tush push a lot. I'm in favor for the tush push. The only thing I hate about it is the potential false starts that get missed with it because of the crowd and all that stuff. But yeah, when it comes to this Eagles team, they showed, in the first game of the year, okay, that's the first game hype, whatever. So they got their Super Bowl rings and all that stuff. It was fine. The second game, who did they play again?
Rematch.
The
rematch.
Yeah. And that one was like, you were like, okay, yeah, this offense is going to be shit because they lost Kellen Moore. This game was kind of similar. It started off that way. It wasn't the run attack really that got going. It was like you said, they revived A.J. Brown in this specific game because in the first 2 games, he was not good or not necessarily good. He wasn't even targeted.
Here's the thing.
Alone.
We know that the Eagles haven't unlocked their full potential as an offense and as a defense.
Yeah.
Like that's something that everyone will 100% agree with. But something else is that we know that this team is very talented and this roster is so well constructed and this team's proved that they've done it before and most of the pieces are similar to the point that like even if they were 1-2, we'd still probably consider them as Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah.
Right? Is there concerns? Yes. Jalen Hurts passing is a concern right now. Obviously, out of 3 games has been a decently good passing game. Right? Like you said, A.J. Brown, 1 out of 3 games has been a good game from him. We haven't seen Saquon explode yet either. So we're not seeing last year's Saquon Barkley. I'm not saying we're not seeing a good Saquon Barkley, but last year was obviously, I won't say the standard we have to hold him to just because last year was so incredible, but he hasn't really took over like we know he can. And obviously the main thing that's taking over right now is a tush push, which has kind of helped them a lot in the Dallas game and obviously the Kansas City Chiefs game. But it was good to see these guys face some adversity, come from behind, and really the Rams forced these guys to pass the ball because of the lead they generated. And because of that, we were able to see Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown answer some questions that we had in week 3.
Yeah, like we knew heading into the season, this should be good on paper. They're the Super Bowl champions. But we knew there was going to be concerns on the offensive side because they lost Kellen Moore. And we didn't know how that was going to look because we saw it last time when they moved on from Shane Steichen on the offensive side of the ball and even Jonathan Gannon on the defensive side of the ball and promoted kind of within or whatever the case was then, it was not great, right? Then the year after, they addressed the defensive side by getting Vic Fangio, Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore did really good. He gets a head coaching job. And people are already, Eagles fans are already like, fire this guy. Mike McDaniel, hurry up and get fired. We want to bring him in or whoever, Dayball, whoever is going to end up becoming available, right? Defensively, we knew there was going to be a concern because they lost a lot of pieces on both the secondary and at the front 7 type.
You
lost the ball.
You lost Milton Williams. You lost
Josh Sweat. You lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You lost
Darius
Slay, right? But we both agree that like, defensively it might take time because you still have Vic Fangio there at the end of the day. Your young guys, yes, they're going to be having a bigger role than Quentin Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. We knew how good Zach Bond was last year. But yeah, offense, their biggest concern, yes, they are contenders. I agree with you 100%. The concern to look at for them is going to be the offense.
More specifically, the passing offense.
Passing offense,
Yeah.
more specifically the passing offense and play calling in general. Because there were some moments we were watching that game where like, why is Saquon not running the ball here or whatever the case is. So yes, offensively, that's going to be the biggest concern. That's going to be our, let's say, their biggest holdback of repeating or getting to the Super Bowl again this year. Moving on to the next team, the next undefeated team will stick with the NFC. Not too big of a surprise. It is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are 3-0. They beat the Falcons, they beat the Texans, and they beat the New York Jets this game. And all of them, the games came down to the wire. Division game, at the end of the day, was going to be tough with the Falcons. We know they play each other tough. That was a good clawed-out win at the end. The Texans game, they were control most of it. They let Texans get back into it. Texans are a whole different story with their offense. So that was a little slight concern there. And then this game, they let the Jets come back into it, but Baker was able to lead the drive. So for me, are they legit contenders? I'm not going to put them on that tier. However, but the way they've been closing out games, like the clutch gene they have and the moxie that Baker is playing with, it is pretty good. They're getting Chris Godwin back soon. They're getting Tristan Wirfs back soon. Yes, Mike Evans did get hurt this game. And offensively, if you look at Emeka Egbuka, yeah, at the end of the day, Ohio State quarterback.
Wide receiver.
Wide receiver. They're expected to be good. Marv, we'll see what happens with him. But
Marv sucks. All right. Marv's a different story. He's pissing me off because of fantasy. But when I'm looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm just looking at Baker Mayfield here specifically. I don't know. Like, there's not many quarterbacks that you would want to have lead a 2-minute drive at the end of the game to tie/take the lead over Baker Mayfield.
You know, Baker Mayfield.
There's not many. Like, answer that question, right?
Not many. I'm going to give you an example. The stint he had with the Rams.
That was that one game.
Yeah, the one game where he was like off the not couch, I would say, but he got released by I think the Panthers.
Learned the playbook in literally like one day.
Not even, and then he comes in and leads them to a win.
But yeah, so like when I'm looking at even last year, there were situations where he's done it before. This year, every single game, he's led a game-winning drive, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown. The Jets game was a little bit unlucky in terms of because there was a field goal block.
True. Yeah.
Another field goal block returned for a touchdown, where a lot of field goal blocks happened in this game. And
shout out the Jets though, man. What a game. Yeah. 2 great games they had. They obviously put the stinker to Buffalo aside without Justin Fields this game. They are showing that they're gonna be a tough team to beat.
That is true, yeah. That's something we expected.
Yeah.
From the New York Jets because the roster is pretty good and their core pieces are pretty good. But going back to Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the biggest takeaway is that like these guys are clutch. Baker will go down to the wire with these guys no matter what, and that's obviously in a playoff setting is going to be huge. But when you're looking at it and you're looking at the status, like you said, yeah, they're not Super Bowl contenders, but they are like at the end of the day like playoff contenders, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, listen, let's get this out of the way.
They're in a shit division.
Yeah,
they're in a shit division.
I'm gonna put it right now. I could pen it in if I want to, but like at the moment you could pencil in, and you could leave it there that they have won the division essentially.
Basically, but in terms of like the highest ceiling I look for these guys is literally a divisional round, max. I don't see these guys making the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
Divisional round, they did lose to the Lions a couple of years ago. Last year, they lost in a wild card weekend against the Washington Commanders. So like that's just the type of team Tampa Bay Buccaneers are. They're good, but it's just going to be necessarily looking at can they like.
There has to be a right situation for them. They have to get lucky themselves. Perfect, they have to be perfect. They got to have some luck.
And that's just talking about playoff wise, not regular season wise. Regular season wise, they're fine.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at it, Emeka Egbuka, absolute stud draft pick for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, coming in and just kind of taking over the offense, kind of becoming the
Chris
number
Godwin
one
role immediately, and then became the number one.
Literally playing like the number one option. Obviously, Mike Evans is old and getting injured. Godwin's getting older and he's coming off an injury. So having this rookie step up and take the responsibility of a number one wide receiver potentially is absolutely incredible. Offensively, these guys look good. Bucky Irving, still Bucky Irving, the beloved Bucky Irving of the NFL. Defensively, these guys are still solid, led by Todd Bowles. They're still doing their job.
It's just weird.
They have this thing. And I'm not going to be surprised if this happens during the season. And it happened last year as well, where they let a team like the Atlanta Falcons hang around. I'm not going to say Carolina or New Orleans right now because they haven't really shown me. I mean, Carolina did something.
Kick the Falcons though.
But like they do this thing where like they allow teams to hang around, and obviously that's in game as well. Like you mentioned in the first 3 weeks and during the season when they're trying to lock down.
Like I mean, like this crazy thing is they're 3-0. But I don't think, like Baker said it, I think last week after the Houston game, that they're not even playing their best ball.
They're not.
Even this week, I don't think they particularly played their best complete ball. Like they should have handled that game pretty early, right? The block and all that aside, they should have won. In my opinion, should have won the game. Again, that says a lot more about the Jets, in my opinion. And yeah, like if you look at the schedule too, Houston at the moment they're in shambles. Their offense cannot do shit, and we saw a lot of that during that game. It wasn't a great Monday. The first part of the Monday nighter there as well. Atlanta, yeah, they're Atlanta, but like again, like because that's a division game, I'm not gonna say too much. So yes, are they contenders? No, no. Are they pretenders? Yeah, obviously, the answer to that is yes. But can they surprise some teams come playoff time and maybe do what Washington did last year and get to the championship game?
That's
the NFC championship game. I could see that happening
if they get lucky.
because like we know
That's if they get lucky.
yeah, but at the end of the day, because we saw how Green Bay got upset, we still gonna put Green Bay ahead of them. Detroit, we'll see how that goes.
Detroit's
on Monday
we're
night.
putting ahead of them.
Yeah.
Eagles are obviously ahead of them. So like,
And
at
the
end of
Rams,
day-
in my opinion, are
and
ahead of
Rams
them
are
too.
ahead of them, obviously. And if the Niners are healthy, they're probably similar level in my opinion.
Yeah.
But when I'm looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I am looking at a team that, in my opinion, that if they start playing their best ball and they go on that run, that shouldn't be a fourth seed. Like,
Yeah.
they genuinely shouldn't, because
This
they
team's
should
gonna jig at the bye, in my
they should
opinion.
smoke, like when they're at their best, they should be able to 6-0 the division right there. That's 6 wins.
Yeah.
Right. And when I'm looking at it, they already got wins against Houston and the
Which we
Jets.
thought was gonna be a tough game, but they ended up winning.
Yeah. And then there's obviously other games where outer division that they should be able to win. So like I genuinely do see a 12-win team here. It's just that like I mentioned before, they tend to let teams hang around quite often during the season in terms of standing wise and obviously
They're not
in game.
not to the standard of the Falcons where they play to the opponent's level. I think they play still better than that. Falcons
Yeah.
are the definition of playing to the opponent's level, as we saw against the Panthers. But yeah, like this team, yeah, I won't be surprised. Yes, they got to be lucky that they could get to the NFC Championship game, in my opinion. And we mentioned the 49ers. They're the last remaining undefeated team who beat another undefeated team in the Arizona Cardinals.
In the NFC.
In the NFC.
Last remaining undefeated team in the
Yeah,
NFC.
sorry. In the NFC, in the division as well, they take over first place because they beat the Cardinals, and the Rams also lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. The problem with this team is literally at the end of the day, I cannot give them contendership because the injuries are way too high. They won these two games with Mac Jones, so credit to them. Mac Jones played well himself. And then, like, yeah, the key thing is, like we said it before, Christian McCaffrey's healthy, they're always going to have a chance to win. That's the one guy that needs to be on the field for them to win, injuries or not. He's on the field, and they're winning games with him, right? The Seattle
here's the
game
thing.
realistically should have been a loss. We probably should be talking about. We should realistically, I think, in my opinion, should have been talking about Seattle right now. But they ended up doing what they had to do there. The Saints game, they had to win.
Hey
that
man,
game.
you gotta give
But
credit
yeah.
to the Niners here. Give credit to the Niners. They're finding ways to win. That's one thing.
Yeah.
No matter what Seattle did, no matter, like, I don't want to hear that stuff. Again, I know they play the Saints, but Mac Jones, and then the Cardinals game was pretty ugly until the fourth quarter where teams actually started to score some points. I'm gonna give a shout out to Ricky Pearsall. He's stepping up as a wide receiver. With the Ayuk being out, obviously McCaffrey, you already know the main reason I have the Niners winning division is because of Christian McCaffrey. It's hard to, like you said, I agree with you. You can't put him in contendership just because of the injuries. But you can't say they're pretenders either because we don't know what this team is fully.
If it's this team, they're pretenders.
Obviously, 100%. They're frauds. Like,
Even if Brock Purdy's at quarterback, then yeah, they're not going to be this good because they had a relatively easy schedule start and they have the easy schedule.
No,
to finish
even
the
if
year.
Brock Purdy's at quarterback, then I would probably
Yeah.
like obviously elevate
it slightly.
And George
but-
Kittle. Like at the end of the day, the defense is the defense. And we do have question marks of defense. They did allow 20 plus to the Saints, but they did pretty well against Sam Darnold and generating pressure and winning that game. That's why they won against the Seattle Seahawks week 1 because they were able to get to Sam Darnold, where the Seattle Seahawks fans started crying for their O-line again.
Yeah.
Robert Saleh's doing a good job. I'm going to give him credit. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan does whatever he does because he literally turned an undrafted rookie into one of the higher paying quarterbacks in the league. So I'm not surprised that he's doing this when Mac Jones.
Oh yeah, Mac Jones. Okay.
I'm talking about Brock Purdy.
Sorry, Brock Purdy is not undrafted.
Or the 7th,
Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant.
That's what I was confused.
Yeah. That's where I messed up. Mr. Irrelevant. And that's why I'm not surprised they're winning football games with Mac Jones. It obviously does help McCaffrey there. I'm going to give these guys a respect. Do I think the Rams are a better football team? Yes. 100%. When they're healthy, I would say that. When both teams are healthy, I would say that. But at the end of the day, these guys are handling business in the most Niners way possible. Winning games when they're injured.
Because you're banking on Ayuk to be back. You're banking on Jennings to be back. You're banking on Kittle to be back.
Yeah, like you have 4 literal key pieces
and
in your
obviously
offense.
Purdy to be
Yeah,
back.
4 little key pieces of your offense missing, and you showed that the Cardinals are the frauds, not you. That's the most impressive part to me. But like I said, you can't put them in contendership just because of the injuries.
One thing I'm going to correct you with the Seahawks, though, very quickly. You said like their own line. It was more so their offense as a whole because they thought that was going to be a more fun offense with Clint Kubiak after week 1. They figured it out in week 2 because Jackson Smith and
But that was just a week 1 thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying
I know.
strictly week 1. It wasn't just an O-line thing. It was more so only the person that was catching balls was JSN. Week 2 and 3 was where they kind of
that's where you're seeing the Paul for Seattle now.
Because they're in the similar tier as the Niners.
I've just said that week performance. Yeah, not saying, like Seattle's good right now.
Before we move on to the AFC here, because we have 3 teams remaining there, we appreciate if you guys hit the subscribe button, the like button, and comment down below. What are your thoughts of these remaining undefeated teams in the NFL? Which one do you think will falter first, will lose first, and which one do you think will lose last? Who's going to be the last team standing? We would like to hear your comments down below. We're almost at 100 subscribers, so we want to get there as soon as possible. We drop football content for you guys once a week for sure, and we might move that to twice a week. So we would like to hear your comments of what you guys would like for us to talk about as well. But let's move on to the AFC. We're going to get the obvious one out of the way. It's the Buffalo Bills. They're 3-0. Easy contenders. Their biggest concern is, in my opinion, is the defense. Fair?
Yes.
Any other concerns? Health, I guess.
A slight wide receiver concern, I guess, but Keon Coleman is stepping up, which is a good sign to see.
Kincaid.
For sure. Kincaid, yeah.
As a tight end.
If Kincaid comes back to rookie form, Kincaid, this is where you're going to see the offense take another level, like jump to another level. Last year, Kincaid was not good. This year, Kincaid has been good for 2 of the 3 games so far. When I'm looking at the Buffalo Bills and the offense as a whole, obviously everything revolves around Josh Allen. There's no debate about that. But if you have someone like Kincaid and Keon Coleman, like you just need 2 weapons that you could trust that could catch the ball. And in those dire moments where you're gotta have it or you're going home type of moment. Obviously last year didn't really work out for Kincaid with the drop in the AFC Championship. But right now it feels like Kincaid and Keon Coleman are being those guys, which is going to be absolutely huge. And Khalil Shakir in the slot is obviously a sick guy to have in the middle of the field. And when I'm looking at it, James Cook is still James Cook. Everyone was scared in terms of fantasy-wise that this guy's touches will be
fantasy aside, we know he's even.
But we know that this guy's a stud.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of
and they have options
getting
behind
to the end
too
zone
that are solid.
Yeah. So offensively, these are good, and the O-line is good too. Defense is not necessarily the defense; it's just necessarily the health of the defense.
Because in my opinion,
I don't question the ability of the defense.
There is no way in hell that Dolphins game should have been closer than it was.
Exactly.
In my opinion, right? So they let the Dolphins hang around. That's a problem. The defense, you look at the Baltimore game, they had the big stop late. Don't get me wrong. Derrick Henry never usually fumbles the ball like that. They made him fumble late, and they obviously got the late plays to get the touchdown to win the game there. Because in my opinion, I still think as a whole, Baltimore should be the better team. That's just me. I think they're probably the best team.
Baltimore is the better team.
In the AFC.
In terms of roster-wise, they're the best team.
They are the best team. I understand they beat them. Buffalo beat them. And right now, we don't know what Kansas City is going to look like. That's going to be a later down the thing because we can't really count them out. And that's literally anyone team in the AFC's kryptonite, really, is Kansas City at the end of the day. But when it comes to the Bills' defense, the clutchness factor, can they get the stop? Cannot let teams be in it because then, yes, Josh Allen, the reason why he's talked about as one of the greatest of all time is because the defense is, he has to bail out the defense sometimes, and he's able to do it with the lack of weapons that he has.
Look, the Bills are the best team in football. Power rankings-wise, they're number 1 for me. They're a team that in terms of schedule, they beat a Super Bowl contender already. And no matter how it happened, they did it. Yeah. Right? The defense showed up for that one play. That was the only play they showed up for. And obviously the 3 and out and the next drive. They handle teams that they're supposed to. They absolutely handle the Jets. And like you said, the Dolphins game was closer than it should have been. But at the end of the day, they were in control. We've seen this offense be like the Bills offense. We are seeing Josh Allen be like Josh Allen. Unlike the Philadelphia Eagles, where we're not seeing them play fully to their potential. So that's where
next year will be the question because I anticipate Joe Brady getting a job.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I give the Bills number 1, as my power ranking. But when I'm looking at this, and like we both agree, they're contenders. Their setback could be their defense, or probably usually is their defense, and it will probably be their defense again. But here's one thing that could be possible, that could change it. There's one player that could be the X factor that could change the Bills' destiny potentially, and that is Joey Bosa. Yeah. Because I know they got Von Miller, but it wasn't the same Von Miller. Even the Rams Von Miller, it wasn't the same as Denver Broncos Von Miller. They have all these pieces. They have these pieces on the offense. They have their main guy, the main closer, and Josh Allen on the offense. But if and I know Joey Bosa's up in that age, it's not the Chargers Joey Bosa. But if Joey Bosa somehow returns to form, he could be that closer.
Be healthy because he
and
is
be healthy,
being
and he
injured all the time too.
He could be the closer for the defense, right? And that's what they're missing, right? Like a 13-second drive against the Kansas City Chiefs, all those many years ago now. All you needed was a good edge rusher just to win a one-on-one.
Proper play calling for it.
And proper play calling and a good edge rusher to win that one-on-one. And boom, Mahomes sack, game over. Yeah. Potentially.
But yeah, no.
But Joey Bosa did do that. He had a good game against the New York Jets. I'm not sure about the Dolphins one because I did miss that one. But overall, when I'm seeing that, that's probably the X factor I have for the Buffalo Bills.
Next up, the LA Chargers, the best team in that AFC West. Many people kind of I don't want to say written them off because of how good the Broncos were last year, and these guys' pass catchers hasn't been the greatest. They lost Rashawn Slater, so people kind of counted about that way. The thing, and then defensively, people forgot that last year they allowed the least amount of points per game last year. This year, Jesse Minter has got them rolling how they have been rolling. Obviously, we know the culture that Jim Harbaugh has set up. Jim Harbaugh set up. I didn't want to mix them up. But offensively, here's the big thing. And no, it's not Madison Beer before you say it.
It is Madison Beer.
But he's healthy. Justin Herbert is healthy. That's number one.
And he has Madison Beer.
You could see him move around. I'm going to ignore that right now. You could see him move around comfortably. Last year, you could see he was hobbled and stuff like that. And that caused, even though he did throw his first pick in in Denver game this year, but like he only had 4 picks. But that like by the time he got to the postseason, he didn't look great, obviously, and a lot of that credit to the Houston defense. The other side that's very positive for me in my opinion, is Quentin Johnson is not dropping passes at the moment. We'll see how it ends up closing. Because like last year, he started off strong too, and he kind of went downhill. But the way they've been playing offensively has been amazing. They obviously beat the Chiefs, which is why they're undefeated and are first place. And we talked about the Chiefs last week. And they beat another division team that's 2-0. These guys are looking good.
They beat all 3 division teams.
Oh, yeah, they did. Yeah, and they handled the Raiders easily. This game, they had to come back from behind because they lost, get well soon, Najee Harris. Like, we did anticipate he was going to lose his job eventually. We didn't think it was going to be what potentially might be a season-ending injury. We hope you get well soon. But at least they came back, had that last touchdown pass. Keenan Allen made a big, tough catch. But the play, how Justin Herbert extended the thing, the drive a little bit and found him.
Herbert's doing Herbert things.
He's top 5 in the regular season. We know that.
Herbert's doing Herbert things. The question for him is the playoffs. It's simple as that. We know who Justin Herbert is. We don't need to talk about Justin Herbert as a good quarterback because we know he is a good quarterback or one of the great quarterbacks in the league. For him, it comes down to playoffs. So for that reason, I'm not going to say contenders.
Because they're the Chargers at the end
But
of the day.
I'm going to give them the same ceiling as the Bucs in terms of divisional round. They have a massive stranglehold on this AFC West. They're 3-0 in the division. They're 3-0 overall.
Yeah.
Right? The Broncos are 2 games behind. The Raiders are 2 games behind. And the Chiefs could be 3 games depending on what they do against the Giants because we're doing Sunday Night Football right now. Could be probably 2 games behind. I'm assuming the Chiefs are going to
Plus, they have tiebreakers. Then on top of
and they have tiebreakers on top of that right now at the moment. They have a stranglehold on the AFC West. So they should be able to be, as long as they don't falter, a top 4 team when it comes to the AFC playoffs. So they should be able to have a home playoff game, in my opinion.
Do you think they'll somehow choke the division? Like, remember when a couple of years ago Miami was first all the way till like the second last week or something like that? Do you think that these guys are able to still hold on based on how the Chiefs are currently playing, based on how the Broncos?
But that's the thing, though. Like,
I feel like they are able to.
But like, I think they are. With that Miami Dolphins team, is like you saw the concern. Like the reason why they start off so good in September and October, it's warmer,
healthier.
Yeah. The Dolphins get injured. I know
and
the Chargers
no one didn't know him much.
Chargers also like do have to deal with their injuries and stuff. But like the Chargers played everywhere. The Chargers played in Brazil.
Yeah.
The Chargers played at home, and the Chargers played in Vegas as well. So when I'm looking at it, this team does look very good.
So you're saying that come playoff time, these guys are winning the division.
They're
representing the AFC West.
They should represent the AFC West, in my opinion, because they have probably the best lead of a division right now, in my opinion. Obviously, like
outside of the NFC South, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
because there's two teams that are 0-3, and then the Falcons are 1-2.
no,
Plus,
no. The two teams are 1-2. It's the
sorry,
same
one
thing.
and
It's the
two.
same thing,
Saints are
basically.
0-3. Yeah, okay.
It's basically the same thing. But obviously, yeah, like Buccaneers should win that division. Don't get me wrong. But like, yeah, they have a because I'm talking about teams that beat up on like division opponents already.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
obviously Buffalo's gonna be there. Obviously, we know the Eagles are gonna win and all that stuff. But with the Chargers, they did it to all three teams in the division. Three division opponents are obviously tougher to play. So when I'm looking at it, like I said, I'm gonna give them the similar ceiling to the Buccaneers just because I don't trust Herbert in the playoffs. Everything is going well. Passing offense is good. Keenan Allen's looking great as well, which is one thing I wouldn't say I was concerned about, but like I didn't expect him to look this good when he came back and make this big of an impact. Like you said, Quentin Johnson's back. Lad McConkey is doing this. Like so, they have a good trio.
If they just need to get Amari and Hampton rolling, and these guys
Not even just Amari and Hampton. They just need to get a run game rolling because their run,
which is now mainly going to be Amari.
their run blocking as an O lineman has not been good because we knew that Omari and Hampton coming into this team was gonna do something special, right? And the reason why it's not working right now is because one, obviously he's a rookie, so it makes sense. He's gonna have up and down moments.
Slater's hurt.
But the run blocking of the O line is not great. We know that Amari Hampton is a great running back due to college, and he's able to find lanes and absolutely explode through those gaps. But right now, when you're looking at some of the film or looking at some of the highlights and parts of the game, you don't see many holes or gaps opening up in terms of rush lanes for Amari Hampton and Najee Harris before he got his injury.
Yeah, like overall, like for me,
So that's my only concern. My only concern right now is the running game.
the Bucks game, Bucks team as like team to team comparison is fair, but I do feel like they are better than the Bucks. Yes, we have to see it come playoff time. I understand that. I hope that this is the year that Justin Herbert can elevate himself to be a bona fide top 5 quarterback in the NFL. But yeah, in my opinion, of all these 6 teams, because we have one more team to talk about, they are the sneakiest good team in my opinion. I think they're the team out of all, not Bills and Eagles aside, the other 4 teams.
So you're looking at dark horse pick.
Yeah, out of the 4 teams that we don't think are contenders, so take away the Bills and Eagles, I feel like they're the top of the team that can make that push if they can.
Until we talk about our Indianapolis Colts, who are 3-0 for the first time
Since 09,
since 09.
where they went to the Super Bowl themselves and lost to the Saints.
So we're going to the Super Bowl and losing to the Saints.
That's nowhere near. But no, I think by far the biggest surprise of the year
100%.
is this team, because heading into the year, including ourselves, we're like, there's no way Daniel Jones is gonna be good for us because, not no way, but like we knew that it's not gonna do much. So far, so good, because when you talked about it in week 1, he looked amazing. We thought maybe it was a 1-week thing. Maybe we thought the Miami Dolphins are just ass. Last week, yes, play calling aside, because we thought Shane Steichen's play calling at the end of the game was terrible. But overall, what he has done with Daniel Jones, getting the best out of him, the O-line guys who I thought I was concerned about are doing well in Gonzalez and Bortolini. Quentin Nelson just leading that O-line as well. As a commentator of the game said, he's his best friend, who is everybody's best friend, the way he's rolling. So everything is working. In this AFC South, they obviously beat the Tennessee Titans, they beat the Miami Dolphins, and they got, yes, a miracle win against the Denver Broncos, in my opinion. Just the way it ended, how it ended.
That doesn't mean they didn't deserve to win.
Yeah.
Colts deserve to win that game.
This team is fully dependent on how good Daniel Jones is going to be down the stretch. And for me, a little bit, the defense is a little leaky these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's obviously a concern. Defense is slightly a concern. That is the setback for the Indianapolis Colts.
Still better than
when
Gus
I'm looking
Bradley,
at this. Again, I'm going to clarify this. When we explained our frustrations with Daniel Jones being named as a starter, because the last real quarterback we had was Philip Rivers as an Indianapolis Colt. That was very competent and good. It was Philip Rivers. He took us to playoffs, man. Come on,
I'm going to say that, but I'm saying Carson Wentz still played a good full
No.
year.
Don't ever mention Carson Wentz ever again, because that's what we expected Daniel Jones to be. Carson Wentz or Gardner Minshew, mediocre. Get us there, but kind of fumble at the end, right? Which is where we explored our frustrations, is because of that situation where we're no man's land in a draft pick, and we're not on a playoff team. That's where Carson Wentz and Gardner Minshew led us to. Nobody talks about Matt Ryan. Nobody ever wants to bring up that year ever again.
Yeah.
But so that's where the frustration came for. And right now we're seeing Daniel Jones be that legit quarterback since Philip Rivers, and obviously before that since Andrew Luck. So when I'm looking at this, yeah, that is a huge surprise, because it's literally last year Sam Darnold right now. That's what Daniel Jones is. It literally is. That's the comeback story, right? Last year was Sam Darnold. This year, right now, is Daniel Jones. Before that, it was Geno Smith.
I think the biggest comparison for me is Ryan Tannehill.
And obviously, yeah, like that. Those
Yeah.
are in terms of comeback players. Yeah, before Geno Smith, it was Ryan Tannehill.
But I'm saying
right?
Ryan Tannehill did it in a consistent basis afterwards. So that's what the hope is later on.
Yeah, I know,
We'll see
but I'm
that.
just saying, like,
But
when
yeah.
you're looking at possibilities and like that this thing has happened before, and right now it's happening to our team, and right now it's happening for Daniel Jones. It's also hurting New York Giants fans, which is obviously fair because they can't put together a roster to save their lives. But when I'm looking at the Indianapolis Colts right now, the passing attack looks good, which is obviously weird to say because we haven't had this good of a passing attack since Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, like he's playing with confidence. At the end of the day, like one thing we both disagreed with because us being fans, we knew this team closer than to a lot of the national media. Is that like, oh yeah, this team's gonna be ass. Like they're gonna be
Yeah,
4
we're
wins.
never ass.
In our video, we never said they were gonna be like 4-win team. The Matt
No.
Ryan year is an anomaly in my opinion. If take away the quarterback position, every single spot, the improved defense still at the end of the day, yeah, it was a little leaky in the Denver game. Don't get me wrong, and even this game, I'm not gonna say too much because whatever. But the Denver game especially. It was that like we have probably in the division especially we have the best all around team minus quarterback,
Literally,
right?
yeah.
Like we may not have a superstar pass catcher, but there are a bunch of solid pieces. And Pittman, Pierce, Downs, even Mitchell was
Mitchell
AD Mitchell was
and Adam
fine.
Warren.
Add Tyler Warren in there. We have a superstar running back who's showing that he's probably in the elite category of.
Let's just say this right now.
Jonathan Taylor.
Right now, we're seeing 2021 Taylor.
Yeah.
Every bit of 2021 Taylor
Yeah.
right now we are seeing, and that
He
is
could be
obviously
like I know like he's probably our MVP. No offense to
100%,
Ryan
yeah,
Jones,
he's
but
our MVP.
He should be in the like that conversation like he was that year. This is why like this team has potential to be like that Tennessee team because we have a game manager type quarterback who's taking care of the ball at the moment. We have a superstar running back similar to that team. The pass catchers are solid. Maybe our O-line might be better than that Tennessee O-line. And the defense is pretty competent. Maybe ours is slightly better if it continues on. This Colts team has potential to be that Tennessee team for these next couple of years. Yes, is the ceiling Super Bowl with that? No. So to answer the question, are they contenders? No. I think out of all these teams, they might be 5th or 6th. Let's be real.
Yeah,
They're going to be 5th or 6th. Like depending on how healthy the Niners are. If the Niners are going to be not healthy, then these guys are 5th. If their Niners are healthy and they're going to be rolling, then they're going to be 6th. But that being said, though, a 3-0 lead in the division. 2 teams are 0-2. That's who I'm mixed up with the NFC South and the FC.
Two teams are 0-3.
Yeah, 2 teams are 0-3. Sorry, and then you
one
have the
team's
Jags.
2-1.
The Jags are kind of.
Jags are 2-1.
They're good, right? In my opinion. So these guys don't have a stranglehold in the division because of that. Because we got to play in Jacksonville still, so that's still a different
That's a
story.
curse. We'll see if it could be
But
broken.
this team should, in my opinion, get into the playoffs the way they've played. And the biggest question mark was quarterback. That's still going to be the biggest question mark to end the year. But he's been playing well. The true test next week against the Rams. We'll see how that.
Yeah, no, that is a
going.
true test. Okay, look, when you're looking at the schedule right now, coming into the season, you're like, okay, Dolphins will be a tough win if we do win. But obviously, when you saw the game and looking at the Miami Dolphins now, that doesn't really count.
Yeah.
Again, Tennessee, the good sign is that they thrashed them.
Yeah.
Which is the good sign. Obviously, if they barely beat Tennessee, then you're like, okay, yeah, that's where you might get a little bit concerned. I know it's a division opponent, but they destroyed them.
Yeah.
From literally the first play with Kenny Moore's pick 6. And then the Broncos. This is a team that, okay, this was this was a game you're gonna look at. And obviously, did luck come our way? 100% it did.
Yeah.
But for people arguing about refs helping us out, the refs also did help us, the Broncos, the whole entire first half. So don't ever give me that ref shit for that game.
The big concern, though, offensively, is red zone.
That is a big concern.
Since you mentioned the Broncos.
Converting, yeah.
That's going to be the biggest drawback of this team if it kind of hurts us. In
Converting touchdowns, basically, right? There's a lot of field goals.
We finally punted this game.
Yeah. But when you're looking at it, offense is on a historical run, which is absolutely incredible. Shane Steichen's doing a fantastic job in terms of play calling and being able to utilize Jonathan Taylor in terms of let him be the superstar running back that he wants to be, while showing confidence in Daniel Jones by not making him hand off the ball every single play.
Shout out Jonathan Taylor too. His pass blocking has been good. His pass catching outside of the one drop today was pretty good as well. Defensively, just very quickly, the only main concern is getting to the quarterback, in my opinion. I think secondary wise, when healthy, they're fine. Lou is drawing up good plays. The question is, can they convert it and get it to
when you're looking
at the
at
quarterback?
when you're looking
at
it's pressure with 4, and even sometimes with the blitz, because there's spurts for the Indianapolis Colts in games. Like in the first quarter, we got to Cam Ward many times.
Yeah.
But then as the game went on, we couldn't get pressure on
I
him.
mean, we
and
got to Bo Nix a few times too.
And as the game went on, we couldn't get much pressure anymore, and Cam Ward started, kind of getting into a rhythm. But when you're looking at it, yeah, I would say describe the pass rush as inconsistent. I would even describe the linebacker play as inconsistent. I do have faith in the secondary when they're healthy. Obviously today,
Kenny Moore did get hurt.
Kenny Moore got a pick though.
Yeah,
obviously
pick 6. Yeah.
Yeah, when healthy, Moore got a pick 6. Travius Ward didn't let Calvin Ridley do anything, right? Cam Bynum still doing his thing, and obviously Nick Cross as the strong safety still doing his thing as well.
But those are all the teams we've got to talk about before we close it out. I'm gonna ask you this. I'll give you the schedules of who they're playing next week. Who's gonna be in your opinion, who's the last team standing that's gonna be undefeated? The question I did ask the viewers. We would like to hear their comments down below as well. And who do you think is gonna lose first? We already know the Colts are playing the Rams. All right. We are the Buccaneers and the Eagles. So one of them is bound to lose. So I guess pick that.
Well, I guess I'll pick the Eagles, staying undefeated.
And then that means you think the Buccaneers are going to be losing their undefeated streak unless it's a tie. Chargers are playing the Giants. The Niners are playing the Jags, which is going to be a good game in my opinion as well. And the Bills are playing. I think they have an easy game. Yeah, the Saints. So Bills for sure. I think they're going to be the last man standing.
So
They're
scheduled. I'm looking at Bills, Eagles, and Chargers.
So obviously Eagles and Chargers. They're playing
Giants.
Oh, I said the Giants. Yeah, I mean the Giants are going to be a tough out in my opinion.
Obviously, right now the Colts and Buccaneers have the toughest.
Yeah, so my opinion, those two are probably going to be losing. If I have to pick a team that's going to go the furthest, I think it's the Bills. Their schedule to start the year is pretty easy. And they already beat Buffalo.
And they're the team that looks most like themselves right now.
Yeah.
They're playing Buffalo.
So if I'm going to pick the longest one, it's going to be Buffalo, but we know that in our opinion, the Eagles are probably going to remain on.
So obviously if you're like kind of cheat coded right here, the shortest one is probably guaranteed one of the Eagles or Buccaneers. So I'm going to say the Buccaneers. But we'll throw in the Colts in there just because the Rams are
especially coming off that type of loss.
Exactly, yeah. And in LA as well.
As we mentioned, comment down below what you guys think. We want to hear your thoughts as well. Hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 100 subscribers. Our week 2 overreactions are popping off. These are the winless teams. Some of those teams did win. So comment down below in that video as well. And we'll catch you guys over there. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.